Okay, so I wanted to do a recap of your anatomy. So we'll start from literally just the bones, and then we can add everything back on. But where I think you were saying you had your fracture, it's kind of out closer to this bone, so having a little fracture in there. And then when we are looking as far as just what happens, so when this gets fractured, let's add on muscles and nerves around it. But you have your rotator cuff here. Okay. So those three are in the back. So when you do your external rotation exercise, those are going to be working. And then your subscap is in the front for your internal rotation. But basically, they kind of tighten up, for lack of a better word, to try to protect everything here. And then you have other layers of muscle that sit on top of it. So like your upper trap, your delts, things like that. Where you were really tender the other day actually was on your infraspinatus. And then if I go and add on your nerves, so if you see this guy, where it comes out, it actually can probably pick up the fact that something funky is happening here and kind of kick into overdrive a little bit. It doesn't necessarily do motor like muscle, but it does do a little bit of sensation to your sternoclavicular joint here in the front and a little bit of the pec area. Now, when we look at different nerve that comes down, we get to the bigger guy. Alright, so your axillary nerve. This is the one I think you were feeling that funky residual pull down in your arm. And here's why I think this. So, where you were really tender in these muscles, that nerve actually comes out below that, and it innervates this entire area. Now, these muscles, I don't know if you watched that another anatomy video in my swimming group, but when you raise your arm overhead, these muscles are responsible for pulling this ball, part of your ball and socket, down so that you can clear overhead in that space we talked about. When these guys are irritated or a little bit weak from being in a sling, things like that, they can actually get a little irritated and irritate this nerve that comes out, and then you would feel it down here in your deltoid area a little bit more. So we'll add on your muscles again. So this is where you were feeling a little bit of funky coming down the side. But you are strong, your muscles are strong, so they're going to be just fine. We just have to teach them to calm down from guarding and then get back to doing what they are intended to do. Now, when it comes to your serratus muscle, here we go. Your serratus actually sits right here on your rib cage and then connects the front of your shoulder blade to your ribs. Okay, so on real lean guys, you'll see this kind of sharp tooth looking kind of muscle group. When it is weak, like you can see from this side where it attaches over here, when it is weak and it's not holding it down, you get this winging of your shoulder blade where it kind of pokes out a little bit more. Now, part of yours pokes out because your ribs are more pronounced here because of your scoliosis curve, but part of it is also because of serratus weakness. And that's just one of those things where unless you've been strengthening it, it can just kind of go downhill over time. And then I don't think the sling really helped a ton for maintaining strength, obviously. So that is a general overview. I wanted to also just talk a little bit about your scoliosis. So I'm going to take your muscles back off here. So and we'll take the nerves off. Your right rib cage pokes out quite a bit more, which means that this part of your thoracic is rotated to the right. So that being said, and I didn't get a massively good look at your lumbar. Usually it's the opposite way. But with some of these exercises, I really want to work on just mobilizing up here because you tend to get it really stiff. And when you're stiff here, shoulder blade really cannot glide on your ribcage the way that it should. So let me actually tip you back up here. Let's just look at the motion. So when you're going overhead, and we'll add a little bit of muscles here so we can show what they do. When you are raising your arm up, right, pay attention to how much of the shoulder blade is moving. When I say upward rotation, that is what I mean. Like it is rotating up. Okay? But to get all the way overhead, 40% comes from the ball and socket and 60% comes from your shoulder blade. So when you're feeling stiffness and things like that, that's why I did a lot of work just moving your shoulder blade around. So yeah, so hopefully that was a nice overview and kind of gives you a better understanding of what all is going on in there. And then we'll just continue to progress. So my goal for you is to get your rotator cuff here really strong because of your fracture, but also just in general. You can do everything bilaterally if you want, but the more you have support here from these muscles, actually the more it gaps these joints and the joint spaces in here. It just makes things feel much better, and it'll give you more power in your swim stroke.